Hey Internet, it's your old friend Dominic here with the All-American Casino Guide, a channel dedicated to providing you with all those tips, tricks, tutorials, and trivia that you possibly need to know about casinos and casino games. If you're new here, I'm going to ask you for a big favor and go ahead and click that big red subscribe button and ring-a-ding-ding that notification bell so you'll be updated with a push notification every single time we upload a video to our channel. Today we're going to be going through and explaining blackjack side betting. We'll be explaining two different side betting methods that you can use to maximize your potential payday, and we'll also be explaining a side bet that you can use to help protect your cash. So make sure to stick to the end of the video, otherwise you're going to be missing out massively. So without further ado, grab a piece of paper and a pen because you're definitely not going to want to miss a thing. So what exactly is a blackjack side bet? I mean, a blackjack side bet is essentially an additional wager that's placed at the beginning of a round, at the same time you would place your regular mainline bet. There are various different types involving your hand and in some cases even the dealers. The three most common and well-known side bets are of course the 21+3, the perfect pair, and of course insurance. We'll be talking about insurance a little bit later on in the video, so stay tuned for that. If you're playing online blackjack, for example, a blackjack perfect pair side bet can often be placed by putting chips in the relevant side bet box alongside your main line bet in the betting box that you normally put your bets. But what is a 21+3 bet? Well, it's a 21+3 bet involves players looking at their first two cards they were dealt as well as the dealer's face-up card. This wager is placed on the outcome that these three cards will form a flush, a straight, a three of a kind, or even a possible straight flush. These poker-style card combinations add a little something extra to the game and potentially a lot to your wallet. In blackjack perfect pairs, the 21+3 side bet options have varying odds, which should be taken into account if you're going to be wagering on any one of them. So let's take a look at each of these 21+3 side bets and the various odds that you can expect according to the relative pay tables. When it comes to the 21+3 combinations, there are essentially 5 different combinations you need to be on the lookout for. The first is the flush. So again, with the 21+3 combination, what we're looking for is the 2 up cards that you are dealt plus the 1 up card that the dealer is showing. So for example, with a flush, to win the flush side bet, you could have something like this, where you have all hearts, okay? The 6 of hearts, the 9 of hearts, the ace of hearts. So the 2 up cards that you are holding and the 1 up card that the dealer is holding all form a flush. Now this particular side bet, if you made the wager before the hand was dealt, pays a nice 5-to-1 bet, all right? Then after that, we have the straight combination. Again, 2 cards face up, all right? So you have a 9, a 10, and a jack, so that's a straight. Again, that is a combination that needs to be bet on before the hand is dealt and offers a better payout, a 10-to-1 odds overall, because the odds of it happening are less likely than the flush, apparently. So then you have the next kind of combination, which is the 3 of a kind, which is just simply 3 cards, any suit or rank, 3 of a kind, where they have 3 of the same rank. So we have 6s in this particular case. This pays out a nice 30-to-1 odd on a side bet. The next type of card combination you could have, and the pretty much one of the most difficult to pull off, would be the straight flush combination. And this is a combination of the straight and the flush. So you have 2 face-up cards, 1 face-up card for the dealer, ace, 2, 3, that's a straight flush, also known as the wheel. That pays a staggering 40-to-1 on any side bets you placed on that combination happening. And the least likely to happen is, of course, the suited 3 of a kind, where you have this is a very unlikely event. This is where you have 3 of the same suit and rank. So for this example, I used the 3, 2 of hearts. So this will pay out a staggering 100-to-1 because it is extremely unlikely that this particular event will happen. You might be asking yourself, how can you have 3 of any single 1 card in the deck? Well, remind yourself that typically a casino will never use a single deck of cards. If we were using a single deck of cards, of course, there would be only 1 two of hearts. But because casinos use 5, 6 decks in the shoe or the stack of cards that they pull cards from, this event is a little less is more likely than you would think, but still has an unlikely event of happening, pays a staggering 100 to 1. So overall, one of the most exciting events that could possibly happen. The next type of side bet I want to talk about is perfect pairs. Now, perfect pairs, unlike 21 plus 3, are dependent entirely on your two face-up cards, okay? And as the name suggests, it requires you to have a pair. But the 3 respective perfect pair bets that you can make are mixed, colored, or perfect pair. So I'll explain what that means in turn, but essentially the payout is a reflection on if the colors are matching, if the suits are matching, or if the colors are mixed. So when it comes to perfect pair combinations, the first and most likely to happen is what's known as a mixed pair. And this is where you're dealt a pair of cards. So in this example, I used 6s. And both cards are of different colors. Not obviously different suits in that case, but more importantly, different colors. So we have a black card, in this case, the 6 of clubs, and a red card, the 6 of diamonds. This is a mixed pair combination. Now, if you made the side bet of a mixed pair combination, and that's what you get, then it's a payout of 5 to 1. Now, the next perfect pair combination you can have is known as a colored combination. And this is where you receive a pair, in this example, aces, but both cards are of the same color, in this case, red. Not the same suit. That's a different combination. So just understand that if both cards are red, that is a perfect pair colored combination. And this pays out a nice 10 to 1 on any side bets. And the third and final variation on the perfect pair is the perfect pair itself. And this is where you are actually dealt the same card twice. Again, this can only happen when you're playing with a shoe that has 5, 6 decks in it, where there's more than one of the same card in the deck. Otherwise, with a standard 52 card deck, this would be impossible. But in this particular case, I was dealt the 2 of hearts and the 2 of hearts. That is a perfect pair and pays a nice 30 to 1 overall. So when deciding if or what kind of side bet to make in blackjack, understand that these perfect pair bets are a better odds for you overall of actually happening versus those 21 plus 3 bets, because you're only utilizing the 2 cards dealt to you and not the 3rd card face up that's dealt to the dealer. Essentially, in my opinion, there's far too many moving parts in the wager when it comes to the 21 plus 3, because it's dependent on your cards and also the 1 face up card the dealer's holding, while these perfect pair bets are really only based on your cards, which is not something you can necessarily control, but just simply a more likely event to happen. The last thing I want to talk about is insurance, or bet protection. Now, insurance is just simply a side bet designed to protect a player from a dealer's potential blackjack. This side bet is only really made available if the dealer's up card is an ace, meaning that there is an inherent danger that the dealer is holding a blackjack if that face down card is also a 10. Now, in playing online, the option to place an insurance side bet will usually appear on the screen when a dealer's cards have been dealt and that ace is face up. It'll just pop up on the screen. Do you want to buy insurance? When you're playing in a casino, though, obviously there's no pop-up screen, so when a dealer deals themselves an ace face up, they'll just simply go around, ask insurance, 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 and you'll either say yes or no. The idea behind placing an insurance wager is to give players a better chance of receiving a payout despite not holding that winning hand. Insurance really only appeals to the more competitive player, as this really is designed to mitigate or reduce slightly the house's edge overall. A range of games offer insurance side bets that typically pay 2 to 1 for those who want to beat the dealer at his own game while increasing their own winnings. Of course, a payout is never guaranteed, as you can't see the dealer's second card until after the insurance bet has been placed, but there's certainly no harm in protecting yourself from losing your bet if you're willing to place that extra bet anyway. So the real question that you might be asking is, are blackjack bets even really worth it? Well, in my opinion, they can be, because the beauty of any blackjack side bet is that they usually only require a small wager because the potential payout is so much bigger than your standard mainline bet. So for example, if you put a $2 bet on a 30-to-1 payout, you're looking at a potential payout of $60 if you happen to get that side bet hit. Now, versus a $2 bet you make on a mainline blackjack bet, if you win, you're only going to win $2. So this is really one of the main benefits of these side bets, is that you have a small investment to potentially high payout. And one of the main complaints that players have with blackjack is they typically don't leave the table with more than even money. And that's where these side bets can really have their advantage, and they can come in and really have the potential to increase your wins overall. However, they really rely on luck, like anything in the casino. Side bets can add an extra layer of enrichment to your casino experience, and they can even add a little bit more fast-paced gameplay to anyone who happens to be a little tired of waiting for one hand to end and another round of betting to start. It is true that side bets tend to give the house a higher degree of edge than a standard blackjack game does, but knowing the basic strategy can lower the house advantage overall. So players who do enjoy the strategic element of blackjack may be put off by the idea of side bets, as they really are more of a gamble than they feel comfortable with, being placed before any cards are even dealt in the case of perfect pairs and 21+3 bets. Now, insurance bets offer a little bit more control, as you already know that the dealer's upturned card is an ace. And if you have a good indication of the true count, you have a fairly educated knowledge of what the probability is that that face down card happens to be a 10 value card, resulting in a blackjack. Don't get carried away by the lure of these high odds though, and immediately start placing side bets. Think realistically and logically before you make your first move. If you're a player who likes to take risks and craves these higher payouts and loves that multi-layered online blackjack experience, side bets are the perfect thing for you. And my opinion is, why not spice up your traditional game of blackjack a little bit now and again? Especially if you happen to be winning quite a bit of that standard mainline blackjack bets, you have a bit of a winnings pile built up. Why not gamble a little bit extra on these side bets, $1 here or $1 there? It's fairly low risk. My personal advice to you though would be to enjoy it with moderation. So ask yourself, will it be a 21+3 bet, a perfect pair, or are you going to be able to beat the dealer at his own game by using insurance when it has the best statistical payout possibility for you? So hopefully you learned today about 21+3 and perfect hand side bets, and you have a better understanding of how insurance works at the blackjack table. If you haven't already, guys, make sure to subscribe to our channel. This is what motivates us to continue producing our casino-related content. My question to you, though, is have you ever used a side bet on blackjack? Let us know your biggest win by leaving a comment down below. Remember to clickety-clack that like button, slam that subscribe button, ring-a-ding-ding that notification bell, and make sweet, sweet love to that share button. My name's Dominic. This has been the All-American Casino Guide, reminding you, play responsibly.